Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk, straight from their jocks about the jocks. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, and Joe is not here today. It is his birthday, but he's been having to work late tonight, so he will not make it with us live, but that's okay. I'm going to do the show without him. We're good here. I'm super happy anyways because my Atlanta Braves have won the World Series. First time since 1995. I'm excited. I'm feeling good. I've been smiling all day. Sporting my gear. That's right. The crowd's excited out there, so we're gonna have a lot of fun here with us. So make sure you guys join in with me here and be active in the chat. And let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about here. I've got some things lined up. We're going to talk about Henry Ruggs in a little bit and Aaron Rodgers and COVID and all that stuff. But first of all, I just want to say make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, go to YouTube and you can hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And that'll let you know whenever we go live and you guys become a note all there. We are broadcasting live from YouTube and Facebook, and also on Godzilla Media, their page there on YouTube as well. So make sure you give us a like and a subscribe there as well. And I want to thank all my sponsors out there, especially Raise Energy, where right now, if you go to repsports.com, you just go ahead there, hit the promo code and put in Raise 'em Up, RAZEMUP, and you will get 15% off your next purchase. All you have to do is pay shipping there, and that's it. You guys get yourself some Rays. I'm drinking the Rays right now. I got my sour gummy worms. I'm super excited. I love that flavor. It's one of my favorites out there, so make sure you guys get yourself some Rays today. So, first of all, I'm just going to get started right into this stuff here. We've got Henry Ruggs the third now. He is now released by the Las Vegas Raiders after it comes out that early Tuesday morning, I think about 3:40 in the morning, he was involved in a high-speed car crash, which resulted in the death of a young woman. And right now he faces felony charges of driving while under the influence, resulting in death. And then also reckless driving, too, as well. So 2 counts on that. And it happened early Tuesday morning, like I said, 3:40 a.m., and he was driving over 150 miles per hour and ran into this woman who was driving a Toyota RAV4. His blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit in Nevada, which it's the same, I think, there as it is here in New York. We have a .08. He was, I think, at .16 during the accident. He killed a 23-year-old woman and her dog that happened to be in the car when it caught fire, too, as well. He could possibly get up to 26 years in prison if he is convicted of the driving under the influence plus the result of a death. The other thing that was bad for him, though, too, is when the police searched his vehicle, they also found a loaded firearm on the floor of his vehicle as well. So that's also a major problem there and something that can be used against him moving forward in this court case as well, which can make it a lot harder for him than maybe now the DA says he may file weapons charges and a second DUI because of the passenger that happened to be in the car with Ruggs at the same time, too, ended up suffering injuries, a broken arm, and went to the hospital. So they might even want to go and get charges for that as well. So it doesn't look too good here for Henry Ruggs III, which unfortunately for him, he's a young up-and-coming player. And he happened to be really coming to his own this particular season. He leads their team with 24 catches and 469 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns here for the Raiders. But now facing these charges, and now it's interesting how quickly, because of poor decisions, your life can change just like that. He was driving way too fast after drinking, way too early in the morning. And how many times have we heard this particular instance? I think it was Herm Edwards that would always coin the term, I think it was, where nothing good ever happens after midnight. And that's the thing. You're out there. I know it's Vegas, the city. I think New York is actually the city that never sleeps. But Vegas, you got a lot to do. You're doing things. The team, they're doing great. They're 5-2 at the top of the AFC West. But yeah, you're out there drinking, going way too fast. It's one thing you have a sports car and stuff like that, but there's no reason you should be driving through the city at 156 miles an hour. They said that when they did check the computer for when the airbags had deployed, he was currently going 127. So he definitely tried to stop, but I mean, at that point, you're going that fast, you cannot stop at all. That's like when they're saying you try to, get in front of a moving train, it just can't stop in time. And it's sad because now this whole thing, just because of him thinking about himself and enjoying the moment and wanting to have a good time, resulted in the death of an innocent person and their dog. And now his life is basically coming to a crazy, drastic change. I mean, he was within, I think they were saying it was like a quarter mile of his $1 million mansion or $1 million house that was there. And now, good luck. The Raiders, they cut him once they found out what was going on, and then they're looking and digging into more information of what really had gone on, talked to him and everything else and things like that. But it is not good for Henry Ruggs and the DA, and I think the judge. They're gonna go after him for this one. A lot of people think that these players, because they have the money to do, get away with a lot of things, or just pay this person that, and because of their star level in the NFL, that they can get away with a lot of this stuff. Henry Ruggs is just starting to become one of those rising stars, and so I don't think he really has that much pull there. And the fact that what had happened and that there was actually, someone passed away because of his actions, I think that's going to weigh heavily on this whole situation here. Bail was posted at $150,000. And then also he was limited to a strict guidelines here when they seek bail, and he has to be confined at home, electronic monitoring, so he's going to have the anklet. No alcohol, no driving, and he's getting his passport revoked too as well. So now no traveling, no leaving anywhere. You can't be drinking, and you're there until this whole thing goes out. And his next court appearance is going to be November 10th. The thing is, again, with this, though, when you look at Nevada's laws on DUI, every state's different. Some take it a little more serious, some don't. I think Canada too as well. If you have a certain amount of like DUIs or even drunk driving arrests, you're not even allowed into their country over there. So I mean, some of these states or countries have very strict laws with this thing. And the thing is with Nevada now, if they get the DUI with cause of death, that there is no probation in Nevada. So he's got to look into that. There will not be any probation. So whatever term he might get, no matter how good he is or not, he will serve that time. And it could be, if he gets that, with a DUI with death occurring, that's a 2 to 20 year sentence. And then if you look at the reckless driving, that ends up being a 1 to 6 years. So they could tack it up then. He could go as high as 26 years in prison right now with this. Mike Tackett is in the house with us tonight. He's in the house. He says, a disappointing 8-7 last week, now making me 81-41 on the year. Here's my week 9 picks: Colts, Bengals, Cowboys, Dolphins, Saints, Raiders, Panthers, Bills, Ravens, Eagles, Chiefs, Cardinals, Rams, and Steelers. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm going to do my picks here by myself. Joe, and unfortunately, Mike was not able to make it here tonight. He had to work seriously late, and it's sad because it is his birthday today. So if you guys do see Joe out there, wish him a happy birthday if you haven't yet. And if you guys that are also friends with him on Facebook out there too, make sure you guys send him a happy birthday wish. All right. Enjoying my Rays energy. It tastes lovely. also I want to get to here the Raiders now. How is this going to affect the Raiders? First of all, actually, let's get to this. Less than a year ago, there was also a car crash involving a Raiders player as well. Josh Jacobs, he was involved in a crash where his sports car crashed into a tunnel in Vegas. He was initially charged with DUI, but his blood alcohol level was below 0.08. So quickly those charges were dropped. He had the same lawyers that Henry Ruggs has right now. So maybe that will be beneficial to him or not, or they're familiar, with this, or they're just lawyers that are close to the Raiders and they were appointed to him. But Josh Jacobs ended up only paying a $500 fine, and he did public service and where he mentored some kids at the Boys and Girls Club, local Boys and Girls Club. But how does this affect the Raiders? They're 5-2. Just a couple of weeks ago, their head coach was in the news because of the emails from 2018 that had surfaced when it came to his conversations with the Washington football team, and John Gruden, he was basically forced to resign. If not, they were just going to get rid of him. But he stepped down, resigned, to where now their interim head coach, Rich Biasucci, was it Bisaccia? That's what it was. Like, man, I'm tough to get that name. But he steps up, and now they've got 2 wins. They had that big emotional win after losing John Gruden. But now the Raiders are slapped with this type of thing here too as well, not having Riggs. Oh, man, I'm messing a lot. Not having Ruggs there, and he was a big player for them. He was just coming into his own. He was their big, deep threat. He was there to counteract what the Chiefs were doing with Tyreek Hill, and he's doing better than Tyreek Hill, I think, at this point. He was really coming into his own, and now they're without him. And luckily for them, they are facing a terrible New York Giants team this weekend that has problems of its own. Saquon Barkley, he's injured again. He was looking like possibly he would potentially come back this week, but he ends up testing positive for COVID-19 now. He not only, besides that, Xavier McKinney also tests positive for COVID-19 for the team. And Skura, their lineman, too, as well, who played horribly last week as well. And then count that on top of the other injuries that the Giants have. But let's get back to the Raiders. So now they're without Ruggs, their 12th overall pick that they had too that particular season. So now that's an absolute wash here because I don't see him touching the field anytime soon. He's lucky if he doesn't go to prison for a very long time. I think most likely he will do some serious jail time if he does have potential to get out. I don't know if he would even be able to be considered into the NFL. So I think pretty much his career is potentially done. And so now the Raiders need to focus on something else. And now that they don't have that big deep threat, they have to center on now, I would say, Bryan Edwards has got to be their main guy here. But going into the Giants game, it's got to be all about Darren Waller there. And so for the New York Giants, I think what they got to do is double team Waller and just try and stop the run and Josh Jacobs. That would give them the opportunity to stay into this game. But either way, I think they really don't have a shot to win this one as well. I think they could keep it close, but with the way that they had performed against a terrible Kansas City Chiefs team, I mean, I can see them, keeping it close, but I don't think they have enough here with the injuries that they had. Sterling Shepard down again. He's constantly injured. Kenny Golladay. You can just name a bunch. Tony, he practiced limited. He might be able to play, but your receivers you're looking at is not very good. Darius Slayton and maybe Tony if you could. But it doesn't look good for the Giants as well. But yeah, so I mean, this thing with Ruggs in the news, it's sad because you're seeing these players constantly not making some great decisions, and I think this was the problem. I think when some of the teams were considering about going to Vegas, they were worried about some players maybe partying a little too hard and doing things and getting themselves into trouble. And I think you're seeing this a little bit here. And it's just another case of players really, I mean, I don't expect him, he's a young guy, to just stay home and not do anything. But you have to make better decisions. I mean, even if you had a few drinks, you don't need to be driving 156 miles per hour down the road in Vegas and in Nevada. I mean, and now your actions took the life of someone else there. But so talking about the Giants and the Raiders, by the way, Joe and I will be at the Raiders and Giants game this particular weekend. We will be there this weekend at the game, MetLife Stadium, 1 o'clock. We will try to go live. Well, I'm definitely going to have it on my phone. I will go. Hopefully we can get her live on the area and have some fun with us. But all right, so let's move on to my next thing. And this year we've been doing a new segment, which I like to call the Milk Carton Missing Player of the Week. And my missing player of the week happens to be Justin Jefferson. That's right, Justin Jefferson, everybody. He was nowhere to be found this past weekend. I think he only had, 4 catches for like 30 yards, no touchdowns, and to where he's been putting up some good, decent numbers for the Minnesota Vikings, but also had a couple bad drops too this particular weekend too as well. So not looking so hot, and the Vikings really grinding in that game, and they should have probably had it when they were facing Cooper Kupp. I mean, you pretty much in a bruised up team of the Cowboys, you should be able to take them. You know, a backup quarterback. Kirk Cousins and family could not get it done, but I think it was mainly the offensive side. The defense, they did okay, and they did their best to limit the Cowboys to what they could. They barely were able to run. But the offense, very vanilla. If you looked at that game and you watched the Minnesota Vikings, all you got to say is play action pass, because that is all they did. Every time they dropped back, Kirk Cousins was faking it to Dalvin Cook or whoever it might be, and they never ran. Very few occasions they did run. So the play action pass was not working, and they kept calling it, and the defense never fell for it. The Cowboys were all over it. Micah Parsons had a hell of a game. He was all over the ball, and it was very vanilla. Didn't switch it up. Didn't do any kind of trick plays at all, which the Cowboys did, where you had Cedric Wilson throw that deep bomb that opened up that game, that wound up getting them the go-ahead score. But the Minnesota Vikings, what are you doing? It's your opportunity. You face the Cowboys, who had only one loss coming into the season. You're fighting for that division, and you have a performance like that in a very vanilla offense. You have Adam Thielen. You have Justin Jefferson. I mean, you have multiple weapons there. Even Dalvin Cook, keep him going, get him going in the passing game. And you just failed miserably. So, unfortunately for them, Justin Jefferson is my milk carton player of the week. And Mike Tackett's in the house. He says his milk carton player is the Bills' backfield. How does Josh Allen become the team's leading rusher versus the league's worst defense? And that is true. And what's funny is you could even say that for the New York Giants too as well, Mike. Daniel Jones is the New York Giants' leading rusher. So how about that? 2 New York teams there. Their quarterbacks are the leading rusher for their franchises. I mean, that's sad. And I mean, the Giants, yes, they have injuries here and there, but Booker, you know, he's been pulling out some more moves there and rushing well. But yeah, what's going on with the Bills? We saw a better rushing attack last season, and you were hoping that, you know, they were going to make a step forward here and get it going, but no, they weren't able to do that. And Not even on designed runs, though, too. Josh Allen is able to get open on his designed runs that he has, but he's been getting out of that pocket and doing what he does, too. But that's what part of what makes Josh Allen so good as a quarterback is not only he's got the strong arm, he's more accurate than he was 2 years ago, but also he has that threat to take off running. And it's not like he's super fast, but he's big, tough to take down, and he's not afraid to hurdle either. He'll jump right straight clear over you. So that is a problem. Yeah, the Bills' backfield, maybe I will start putting a full team on the milk carton in one of these times. I don't know if I have enough space on that milk carton, though. But that is another good one, Mike. He says, Mike Tack, about the topic we were talking about here with the Ruggs thing. He says, not much to say about the topic aside from my condolences go out to the victim's family, and that is my hope that justice is served. In a major city like Vegas, there are so many accessible ways to get around. Absolutely. That's the thing, too. Vegas, if anybody's has been there, I know a lot of people have. I have a bunch of times. Cabs everywhere. There's cabs everywhere. There's Ubers, whatever now. There's all types of different car services you can get. Even your vehicle, again, like I said, you had a few. You're hanging out in Vegas. You can stay up as long as you want, wherever you want in Vegas. I've been there where I've seen the sunshine peak up and everything. I'm still hanging out. But make better decisions. You know what I mean? Don't get behind the wheel. Don't drive 156 miles per hour. What are you doing? Why? What's the point of that? Trying to show off for a girl that's in the car? Is that the idea? And now you have changed your life. You have changed your franchise. There you go. But more importantly, you ended a life that was just getting started just about. 23 years old. I can't imagine at 23 years old being done, out. Just like that. For me, it's 21 years ago. So many things I've seen since then. Done. Things that that they'll never do. It's a very serious thing. And now you've got the grieving family too as well. That's a major thing. And I'm sure they want some sort of justice. But what's justice to them? Do they want to see him go to prison for 26 years, get the max? What is it? I mean, it's tough, and I think when some people kind of would say that, he's an NFL player, he'll probably get on. I don't think so. And I really hope not, because you've seen with some of these instances, they need to make a statement to tell you it's not right. It's not good enough. The shield, they tell you detrimental to the shield. You need to represent yourself better if you want to play in this league. You need to be a better example and show other people, younger people too out there. These are not decisions to be made, when you get older and things like that, But on a lighter note, though, I'm going to tell you about my friends at Colorize right here that sponsor the show. Colorize. They have 3 stores up here in upstate New York. They have in Queensbury, Niskayuna, and Clifton Park. Make sure you go see my link there, Colorize. They are your leading Benjamin Moore dealership down there, but they don't just do Benjamin Moore paints and stuff like that. I go to them all the time for different color matches and stuff. I say, hey, I need a color. Boom, call them up. A few days, they got it back to me. I say, hand it to the customer. It's right spot on. They love it. I love it because they did me a lot of favors, saved me a lot of work and time. Go to check them out at mycolorize.com. From the do-it-yourselfer, if you're just out there, you don't know what you want to paint here, blah, blah, blah. Don't go to Lowe's and Home Depot and all that other stuff where they got this other guy that's running the paint area, but then he has to go back over to hardware and blah, blah, and he doesn't know what he's doing. Go to the paint professionals there at Colorize. Check them out, mycolorize.com. All right, so, yeah, it also popped up in the news here lately that COVID. Again, a lot more players getting COVID again. It's popping back around. We just saw Devontae Adams for the Packers was out last week, And I think one of their coaches had it too, I think as well, was tested positive. I think Mike would know more about that, being a Packers fan. But now Aaron Rodgers pops up with the COVID-19. Saquon Barkley, I said, for the Giants, Xavier McKinney, and others. And now they have to sit out this week. And so where now they are, I think people want to now go after Aaron Rodgers. And this is the thing. I don't like to get super political with a lot of this stuff here, but I'm going to try and keep it on the terms with everything with the NFL. But now this is where you want to bring out witch hunts here. All right. Teams were asked to try and get to 90% for vaccinations and all that stuff. Still unclear if Aaron Rodgers is vaccinated or not. They're saying pretty much that he isn't because he hasn't come out and really said it. He said, I'm immunized. So that's a very gray line. So what does that mean? Did he get vaccinated or not? But you know what? There's a lot of people that are turning up that are vaccinated and getting COVID again. Saquon Barkley, vaccinated. He tested positive. They wanted to test him again just to make sure in case it was a false positive. Tested positive again. That's why he's sitting out this particular weekend. Same thing with Xavier McKinney. But people want to say, now, is he lying about, being immunized? Is he lying about this? Did he lie about making it into the game last week? Are the Packers following protocols? What's going on over there? Why is there now another outbreak? It's different throughout all different of the franchises, throughout different cities. We saw the Arizona Cardinals a few weeks back. They ended up, a couple of their players and coaches end up testing positive for COVID. Even Kingsbury was out for a little bit. They got very close to meeting that line to where, the NFL had said this season that they were going to look into making teams forfeit games if they had a certain amount of players that were out and they weren't able to make it and do it. And they were very close to that. But they were able to suit as many people as they could, and they ended up pulling out a win that week. But Aaron Rodgers here, now he tests positive. He will not play. And it's a big topic because of not only his vaccination status, but also it was going to be a marquee matchup, I think, in some people's eyes, even though the Kansas City Chiefs, they are not playing like a lot of people expected they could play this year. The defense, they look worse than they have been. We knew were kind of weak before, but now they're downright putrid. Can't really cover anybody. But that front line, they started to come around a little bit last week. But besides that, the secondary is just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So it looked like the Green Bay Packers were going to be able to play these guys here this week and come out with a win. But now you've got Love is going to be starting for them again. So now we get to see this saga unfold. How is Love going to play? Is he going to do all right? Can he pull out a win against the terrible Kansas City Chiefs? Can the Chiefs beat the Green Bay Packers? Without Aaron Rodgers, yeah, they probably could. Because if you look at the quarterbacks, again, you've got a guy who really hasn't had any experience. And Patrick Mahomes, who is a former MVP, has gone to 2 Super Bowls. Won one of them, lost the other. And hasn't been playing very well. But the team has been able to bounce back and be very opportunistic and manage to muster out some wins. And this is the right time for them to be playing the Green Bay Packers then without Aaron Rodgers. So what the Packers need to do, I think, in this particular game, they need to run heavy. They got to get Aaron Jones going like they did in the last game when they weren't kind of looked on to win that game. They really started getting that running game going when they didn't have Devontae Adams. I kind of wrote them off when they didn't have Devontae Adams either. But they were able to get it done with Aaron Jones. And then we had a Randall Cobb sighting. He was able to look to his old faithful there and get open. But Without Aaron Rodgers, though, it's a totally different team. It's going to be different. So is that Kansas City Chiefs pass rush going to be able to get to Aaron Love? I don't know. I don't know about that because you know what? With getting Bakhtiari back too for the Green Bay Packers, that line looked really good last week. They looked solid. I mean, nobody was getting in there and getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers really at all. And then that running game, again, was stout. So I think that offensive line is just going to be able to keep off the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, when you look at Aaron Rodgers and testing positive for COVID here, the thing is, he, I think, has to retest on, was it the 12th? I think the quickest he can get back is the 12th, and he needs to pass 2 more tests and get negative to be able to play next week as well. So he needs to be able to do that and be able to play for next week. So that's something to look into as well for the Green Bay Packers. Joe is in the house here. He said he's going to be able to make it here with us tonight. So it looks like he could make a sighting here with us tonight. All right. Sweet. That would be very exciting. But pretty much my show is going to be over in a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be worth of anything. But so anyways, not only Aaron Rodgers with the testing positive, but Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants. The game that Joe and I are going to be going to and a bunch of buddies to this particular weekend. And you have all these players out. You don't have, like I said, I've listed all the players that are going to be gone. I mean, the Giants just can't get out of their own way. At times they look better with the offense, but again, Jason Garrett, it seems like he just will put one good play out there and then put it back away and then not come out again. Very vanilla runs. And the defense looks better. Let me tell you that much. They definitely look better there. But as far as the offense is going, it's just not all there, and I can't blame Daniel Jones for any of it. He did have that one pick this past weekend that really was like, what the hell are you doing? He never saw like that linebacker just sitting there. I don't get that. But besides that, I mean, he's been doing okay and throwing to a lot of people that he hasn't had a lot of practice with. So when it comes down to this game, I think the New York Giants have to push the ball down with John Ross. I would say they need to get him open so where he can just sprint, just go deep, and test that secondary of the Raiders. And they need to make it quick. They need to get quick outs too as well. Get the ball out as fast as they can, and they need to fix their red zone offense too. They are the worst in the NFL in the red zone. I thought the Raiders were fairly bad, but these guys are the worst. They can't barely get anything in there, even with it being a field goal or not either as well. And for the Giants defense, they need to just, like I said, double team Waller and try and keep Josh Jacobs in check to stop the run. So then basically you're just trying to give Derek Carr everything else, see what he can do. That's all the Giants can do. I don't think the offense will be able to put up enough points here to beat the Raiders. I was surprised they were able to put up 17 even last week, but it doesn't look good for the Giants this week either going. But I'm going to be excited for the game. I'm going to be cheering out there, and it's going to be a nice weekend too. It's going to be like 57 down there, so I'm super excited about that. But right now I'm going to tell you guys about our friends here also at Mohawk Honda. Mohawk Honda right there on Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia Glenville. They're right down where I work. I get to see the miles and miles of inventory that they have there, all pre-owns. Right now, they're going to give you cash in hand for your trade-in. So if you guys want to trade in your vehicle, if you're looking for some extra cash or just you're done with that vehicle, want something newer, they will definitely take care of you over there. I've been there for service for for oil changes, stuff like that. They really know how to take care of you out there. They greet you with a smile. They go through there, and they also, with the COVID and all that stuff, they wipe down your car inside, outside. They've got the bags all over, so they do everything that they can to take precautions that they do. And also, again, the value is there with your trades, and also the inventory. Choose what you want. There's more than just Hondas there as well. Go see Greg there as their general manager. And also check out the VIP man and Luis Morales and Hot Sauce too. Yeah, they're wonderful sales staff there. They'll take care of you. Mohawk Honda, where they go out of their way to please you. All right, so now it's going to get to the picks segment of the show. I'm just going to rock and roll right through it here. Let's look at the status where we are here. Joe and I and the picks. Mike was talking about his record here. Where is he at? He's right here. He says 81-41. How come my math doesn't add up the same way? Maybe I'll have to check on that. But 81-41. Yeah, I'll see if the math's right on that one. But I know I'm 4 wins less than Joe right now. He's in the lead, 85-39, 89-39. I'm 81-43 at this point. Getting some here and there, trying to get in there, trying to get it close. I've won it the last three seasons. But this week, this year could be Joe's year. It'll be exciting. I think a lot of people are super excited to see that show. That show usually we have at the end of the year, right after the Super Bowl, and it's a lot of fun. Where we have the football. It's a plastic football here full of liquor, and the loser has to drink it. And if I end up being the loser in that one, you know what? I picked what I could. I fought hard, and I'll be excited, and it'll be very entertaining for you guys out there. All right, so let's get to the picks here. I'm gonna get right into my picks. I've got the New York Jets and the Indianapolis Colts here on Thursday night. How about Mike White, huh? How about that in the Jets, man? The Jets really surprise a lot of different teams. Just when you think like the narrative has been told about some of these teams, like the Titans, they're like, oh, their defense is that good. Look at, they laid an egg against the Jets, but then now they've fought back and played hard, and they're the cream of the crop in that division at this point. They beat the Colts both times that they faced them already, so they've got that in case of any kind of tiebreaker. And the Jets, they just came and won last weekend. Mike White comes in, doesn't really have a lick of any type of NFL experience at all. He puts up 400 yards on that Cincinnati Bengals defense, and they pull out a victory. What was that, 34-31, I think it was, against the Bengals? And a shocker. I don't think anybody really picked the Jets. Maybe some Jets fans out there were still thinking that they could do something there, but they surprised me. But again, it was one of those particular, maybe it was a trap game for the Bengals. I think they saw the Jets and like, this team, they also have that backup quarterback in. It's not going to be too easy for them, so let's just kind of do our thing. And I think they were unprepared, and they got caught. So now you've got the Colts here against the Jets. I think that was, lightning in a bottle a little bit for the Jets. I don't believe in them enough that they're going to go back-to-back here with some wins, especially against the Colts here at home. But if you want to look at injuries, this is the thing here with the season too as well. Injuries play a lot in some of these games, some of these teams. The most healthy teams are the ones that have the best records right now. And when you look at the Jets, I don't know if Corey Davis is going to be able to play. I think Tevin Coleman's going to be out. They just acquired Laurent Duvernay-Tardif from the Chiefs, and he won't play yet. He's still sitting out, and he's just joining the team, so he's not even going to be able to help them out right away. So, also offensive lineman George Fant is questionable for the team. So, what's that going to do for the Jets? On the other hand, you've got T.Y. Hilton that's still in the concussion protocol, and Quentin Nelson is questionable to go for the team. But I don't know. I think he'll be okay there. I think Quentin Nelson will still play, and that'll be enough for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think facing the Jets here, I think it's the perfect team to be facing right now to try and get back into the groove because it's been sloppy. The play has been downright sloppy. And a lot of it, I would say, is on Carson Wentz, but not all of it. But Carson Wentz, for some reason, still making those bonehead mistakes. What in your mind says, I'm going down pretty much, I can't take a sack or whatever, but my first option is throw it directly into the sky. Throw it directly at another player right in front of me. You're better off throwing it at nobody to the ground. Take the intentional grounding, loss of a down. It's only then it's just a 10-yard penalty instead of a dumb-looking turnover that you constantly do. You're brought in here to change those ways. That's the reason they got rid of Phil Rivers. Things like that. They wanted to find a more reliable quarterback. And they don't have one right now in Carson Wentz. So when it comes down to it here, I'm going with the Colts on this one. This is going to be a very, I think, interesting game, uninteresting game. Next up, let's move up to the Sunday night games here. Sunday, we got the Cleveland Browns. There's some news here with the Browns, too. Odell Beckham Jr., how about that? He gets yelled at by Kevin Stefanski. Says, no, sir, you have to go home. Sends him home like a little child after a conversation about things. No, you know what? You can just go home. How about that? And then we'll talk to you about other things and in your employment here in your future. How does that feel? What have you done for them, Odell Beckham Jr.? You haven't done anything. Yeah, this is what the Giants had looked at when you were, with them. Once you got your first couple injuries, you weren't worth it to them. The antics, the kicking net, blah, blah, blah. Doing the same thing here for Cleveland, but you've had less play time. Barely out there. Not really making any plays. Not getting in sync with Baker Mayfield, then blaming him. A lot of drop balls. He doesn't catch the ball. He throws it. So Odell Beckham Jr. is not going to be with the team here pretty soon. And it's past the trade deadline, so it's not like they could trade him or not. But we've got the Cincinnati Bengals here at home. Can they bounce back after that horrific loss to the New York Jets? It's terrible. You know what I mean? I think Joe Mixon has been a big part of this game. He's been playing really well. The Cincinnati Bengals, they had an off game there with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I think Cleveland, their defense, again, is struggling. They were suffering with enough injuries. Baker Mayfield is playing still with that injury, which I do not think is a good idea. So I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals here at home. All right, next up, I've got the Denver Broncos and the Dallas Cowboys here. The Broncos moved on from Von Miller. How about that? How about the trade with Von Miller? What do you guys think about that? Von Miller goes to the Rams and they get a second and third round draft pick for Von Miller. I mean, I think that's a decent deal for him. But how scary is that defense now when you face the Rams? It's clear now that they're going all in and putting all their chips in the middle here, and they're banking in on this season again. Well, they've been doing that, compounding it on top of each other season to season, to where now this next 2022 draft, they're going to have someone else's conditional third rounder. They're going to have a fifth and 2 7s, and that's it. Not much to work with, not much to build on. They won't have a first-round pick until 2024. Hold on a second. Joe is here. I need to try and get him in the door. Let's see. I sent a text over to see if I can get Joe in the door here. Not Skeleton Joe here. There he is. Joe is here. All right. You're just in time for the pick segment. All right. But if there's anything else you want to touch on, too, I was just saying I've got the Bonesy there that fills in for you when you're not here. But how about the Rams in that trade for Von Miller?
All right, I'm back, everybody. Let's go.
Gonna bring some life into the show.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, congratulations, first of all, for the Atlanta Braves. Champions, baby. Once again, it's been a while, but they're back. They're back.
I like it.
So, all right, let's see. We got that
Ian
formality
Anderson,
out of the way.
a Shen grad, too, from out here, local guy. I mean, so there's like a double story for this whole thing.
Exactly. First of all, real quick, I take the Colts over the Jets. Thursday night, tomorrow night, I have the Colts there. Did you pick the next game yet?
Yeah, I did. I did the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
I hate this game.
Yeah.
Listen, and we've said this multiple times about the Bengals, about how they disappoint you, then they surprise you. They are home. Listen, they beat the Ravens, for God's sakes, this season so far. They're 1-0 against them. Now they're going to take on Cleveland. I don't really like this game at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with the home team. I'm going to go Bengals on this one.
All right.
I don't like what I saw last week with Cleveland, and I feel like Cincinnati is going to have to come back because they just got embarrassed by the Jets. To be able to let that game go, this game is an interdivision game. It's going to be a great game, but at the same point in time, I think they were a little bit angry. They're a little upset that they lost that one, so they're going to come back strong this one. All right. Are we caught up now?
Yeah, you are, because I was just bringing up the Denver Broncos here. Okay. Now without Von Miller. Yep. They do that trade.
Oh, the trade. Yeah. The big trade with Von Miller. I mean, wow. Kudos to the Rams. That's all I'm going to say. As much as heat that Sean McVay takes on every single season, whether it be a coaching decision that he made or the offense that he's running, I will say this. We thought that the Rams were going to be strong players for this upcoming season with the addition that they made with that trade with Stafford to bring him in, ship off, Jared Goff, and then the weapons that he has to throw to on this offense. It's pretty impressive what they can do offensively and rack up points. Now, their defense has been better than advertised before week one even came. They just made it even stronger. We all worry about week-to-week Aaron Donald, you know what I mean, and how he can take over games just by himself. Now, with Aaron Donald and company, now you add another element like Von Miller, a sack master, a guy that's one of the best pass rushers in this league. Yeah, he might be a little bit older, but he can still play. That is going to be decimating to opponents. I think it's an incredible move. And listen, we saw this coming with the Rams. They were pushing all their chips to the middle of the table and saying, we need to win now. That's why we made this trade for Stafford. That's why we brought in guys that we brought in. And now we have to win now. So this is a move just making a statement to everybody in the league and saying, listen, we made this trade because we are planning to win the whole thing now. It's win or that's it. It's win or bust. You know what I mean? The whole thing. So the Rams do this move. They give up a second and a third round pick. It's a decent amount in value that Denver's going to take on and definitely keep building that team there with the Denver Broncos. But Von Miller going to Rams, now you got to contend with not just Donald, but also Von Miller coming off the edge. That Rams defense got a lot better real quick.
Absolutely. So now you've got the Dallas Cowboys who, again, they end up pulling out a win even though Cooper Rush goes in, and that was major for them.
For sure.
Not with the division or anything, but it's basically
it's a big
playoff
win.
Seeding. Yeah, because when your backup quarterback comes in, you want him to be able to pull off that win.
Just manage it. I mean, at the very least, just manage the game. Don't make mistakes. Just complete your role. You know what I mean, for that game. That's all you got to do. You don't have to be the superstar. You don't have to show out. Listen, the Cowboys have plenty of offensive weapons that he was able to dish the ball to, especially CeeDee Lamb. and how impactful he was in that game. Amari Cooper came on huge down the stretch for them as well. And the defense played well enough to get the W, with Cooper Rush at the helm, at quarterback, and he played solid. I mean, that's all they needed him to do. He didn't have to be he didn't have to be Dak 2.0. He just had to be the best Cooper Rush version of himself as he could be, and he just did that. So Cowboys, they handled their business against a tough Minnesota team, a team that we thought was going to, slide a little bit this year, but they've been a lot more competitive than I would have thought from the jump. So Minnesota once again losing a tight game, and it's not going to get any easier.
No, I said this earlier when I was talking about that game. What did you feel about their offense? I felt like it could be summed up in 2 words: play action, pass.
Yeah.
Well, it just seemed like that's all they did. Kept dropping back and did the same thing over and over again, to where it was pretty predictable.
The one thing that I'll say is, why didn't they stick with the run?
Yeah.
The running game they were killing the Cowboys in the run game. I don't know why they deviated from that part of the offense so much. Usually it's Dalvin Cook that sets up the offense. Mm-hmm. And in that game, it's like every time Dalvin Cook got the ball, he was getting 3, 4, 5 and more yards at every attempt he was given the ball. So why go away from that? Why deviate and just say, hey, Kirk, you got to bail us out. Kirk, you got to bail us out. Because that's not what works well with that Minnesota team, that offense. They feed off of Dalvin Cook and how he can get the defense on their heels a little bit. And now they're like, all right, well, now we all need to step up. And that's when they can take advantage of guys like Justin Jefferson down the field or Adam Thielen down the field. I don't understand the offensive game plan for that game against the Cowboys defense. Listen, the passing game just wasn't working for them. The Cowboys, defensively, they were taking care of business. They were getting pressure. They were confusing, it looked like at times, Kirk Cousins and where he should have been going with the ball half the time, instead of just sticking with working. Because every time they handed the ball, if it seemed like that Dalvin Cook was able to run at will on that team, and just figured they should have ran the ball more, and milk the clock that way a little bit more, and then set up the play action after that. After you have established that run game, then you can go to that play actions, plays, and then you can also drop straight back, and you'll have more time because that defense will be on their heels. So
right, and
it was
that's
just
what I kind of
mistake.
saw. It's like they didn't run very often. They did run well, but not very often. And so then, like I said, you're doing this play action pass, but we know you're not running.
Right.
It's like there's no, you're not fooling us in anything.
You became
one-dimensional. And it's not like he even did like a bootleg play action, stayed in the pocket, and then it was already the pass rush is already there.
Right.
Randy Gregory had a big game for them. You know what I mean? But Micah Parsons again all over the ball too as well.
Yeah.
It worked out for them. But
absolutely,
getting back to the Denver game and then Dallas. I mean, but I wanted to get your insight on that because to see if you're on the same page, saw what I was seeing. Dallas. Now I think Dak Prescott should be able to play in this game, right? I mean,
there's no indicator yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be another Cooper Rush sighting.
Who knows
once again.
If they think they can do it here? They might. They
but
might
here's the
just
thing:
if they think they can take Denver.
If I'm the decision maker for the Cowboys, and last week was a questioning period all week of him even practicing. Mm-hmm. This is another game that they can easily win. Minnesota game was a tougher game. I feel like Denver. Now, especially, think about it. Now Von Miller's not there.
Right.
So your offense doesn't have to really worry about much of a pass rush. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no Bradley Chubb. He's out for the season. Or at least he's out for the next 8 weeks or so. Mm-hmm. And then also you have Von Miller who's gone. That just completely takes away that pass rushing element that the Broncos defense had. So what's to worry about? You know what I mean? I mean, you're going up against Denver's defense, which is lacking this season. This could be a game that they probably could easily win. Now, the one thing I will say is that Denver's offense, it's a possibility that their offense is going to have to try to keep them in the game, not so much their defense anymore. Now that they don't have Von Miller and they're missing some pieces up front. You look at Teddy Bridgewater now. They got back Jerry Jeudy last week. Looked like he has to dust some rust off a little bit until he gets going full go. But now that they have pretty much all their weapons back together again, that this game, I mean, it could be fairly close, especially if Dak is out. I feel like Cooper Rush, he had his miscues. He had some mistakes last week, but they were able to overcome those. This week is probably most likely a game that Dallas could easily win. They just got to take care of business, whether it's with Dak or without him. I'm going to go the Cowboys.
All right. I know, everybody, that was long-winded and everything, but, Joe just got in here. By the way, happy birthday, buddy.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. How young
Thanks.
are you now, 43?
I'm going back in time, so now I'm 41.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go backwards.
Yeah. Everybody said I went back in time by wearing my hat today. They said I look like a little boy today.
Oh, yeah?
How about that?
Yeah,
I
look
said
at
I look
that.
like a lot younger. I also wore it backwards. If you make it backwards, does that make a difference?
There you go.
I look a lot younger now?
Yeah.
There you go.
You look
So
Fred
anyway,
Durst.
there you go. So I know. Yeah, you see what he looks like now? Holy shit.
No, I don't
Like,
want
I hope
to.
I don't age
I don't-
like that. God damn it.
You did a lot of drugs,
I'm
though.
trying to age in reverse as well, too, Joe, like you are. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, so I'm going to go, again, after all that, I'm going to go with the Cowboys, too. Just because, again, the things that's going on with Denver, I think they're having their own issues. As far as quarterback is concerned, though, as well. But now they've shown at the trade deadline, we've heard rumors about them wanting to unload either Bradley Chubb or Von Miller, mainly Von Miller.
Yep.
They finally pulled the trigger on it. So now that shows you they're ready for a rebuild.
Yeah,
They're ready to go.
and also the reason why they pulled that trigger was because now they're getting some compensation in return.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than the whole season goes by, if they weren't able to get this done, the whole season goes by, they get nothing for him, he becomes a free agent, and off he goes.
Yep. All right, here we go. Now we've got the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins.
The game of the week.
This one.
Everybody should be excited for
This
this
one is going to be, man, not very
Crickets?
good. Yeah.
Can I get some crickets, please?
Tyrod Taylor, I don't think he's going to be able to play in this one because they
He got
said
hurt, too.
Yeah, he's very limited. They didn't
Yep.
do a whole lot of practice, so I don't think he's going to be in it.
That's okay. They got Davis Mills.
Yeah,
They're
Davis
okay.
Mills, like I said, I like what he's doing, but who knows? Is it this the week to do it? Who knows? Miami, they've been very up and down. Tua, he's got a finger issue or thumb issue or something like that too, an injury. So we've got injuries across the board on both these teams. So it's going to be pretty rough-looking football. But out of the two, you would expect that Miami, if they got to get things together, work it out, they got to do it here at home against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, and especially if Tua is back. Like, I know he got a little hurt, banged up. I think they'll be able to mask it or at least be able to, correct it throughout the week to where he'll be able to play for sure. And also, they're getting a little healthier. Devontae Parker came back. You know what I mean? They have Jalen Waddle, who they've been relying on heavily last couple of weeks. Houston Texans are interesting because Davis Mills has been proving to the Houston Texans that with time, it looks like he could take over that position and be their starter long term.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's going to need a lot of help around him to do so. And it was funny because I saw before the trade deadline that the Houston Texans had like a laundry list of players on the trade block, and nobody else was dealt before the trade deadline. I know Brandon Cooks is really upset about that because he was looking to get out of there. Nobody came calling for him. I know he was upset about Mark Ingram going back to the Saints. But this team needs a lot of help, bottom line. And it's going to take a while for them to become relevant once again, especially if Watson does, in fact, leave as well, which that's not even resolved yet. And didn't also another guy that never got traded. A lot of it speculation out there. Someone said, "Oh, the Eagles are no, Eagles are out." Oh, Miami's definitely the runner-up. They're not out. And you know what I mean? So trade deadline came and passed. That's all over with. This game right here, Miami Dolphins, the one thing I'll say is that their defense seemed to start clicking again last week. They seemed to get back on track. They got some healthy bodies back. Xavier Howard's back. So all in all, I'm going to go with the Dolphins at home.
All right. Yeah, let's take a look at what Mike did. Mike gave me his picks once I got on here today, And he
So
says
he's got
Colts, Bengals, Cowboys, Dolphins.
Dolphins.
All right, so we're all the same right now.
Look at that.
Look at that. He said I got to look at the amount of games that we have, but he has the same amount of wins that I have, but then the losses is a different
Well,
number.
they're different.
So
They're
I got to
different, yeah.
figure that out, see what happened there. But I got to go back and do my math. But he has the Saints in the next one. Let's look at this one. The Saints and the Falcons.
No Winston. Done
No-
for the year.
Yeah, right. So you've got Trevor Siemian back there. You know, end up pulling out the win and maybe Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill sighting. You know what I mean?
think
So
if Taysom Hill is healthy enough, I feel like he's going to be the starter, not Trevor Siemian. Because he's been with the team the longest. I feel like he gives them a little bit of a spark, especially with his mobility. You know, where Winston was more of that kind of pocket passer. He would run if he absolutely had to, but I think Taysom Hill could keep some defenses on their heels if he's able to play. Another report out of New Orleans too was that Michael Thomas had a setback. So he looks like maybe he might. In fact, depending on the degree or the severity of this setback of his injury, this could put him out for the season now.
who? Michael Thomas?
Yeah.
They said he's out. He said he's
Done
out
for
the season.
done for the year. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big blow to them. Now they're not getting back their star receiver. They're not getting back a guy that was going to be able to kind of boost this offense. Now they're going to still have to kind of roll with it. Also, because they never made a trade for another receiver.
Yep.
So I don't know what to expect from this offense right now. If Taysom Hill is at the helm, then I expect kind of like a gadgety type offense, a guy that's going to be able to do those play action plays and at least threaten the run game from himself and keeping defenses on their heels. Going up against Atlanta Falcons, listen, they've been kind of on a trend upwards, as of late. And I know, like last week, Matt Ryan got his hand stepped on. His hand was all bloodied up, and he was still playing. He was like, I got this, guys. Let's go. This tough guy mentality that he has. And they kind of came alive, especially on offense, too. They started to use Kyle Pitts more often. Calvin Ridley, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's not going to be around. So I think that hurts them big time. Like we saw them struggle without him before. Now he's not going to be there. I got the Saints in this one, despite whoever's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Saints here, too, as well. Again, just because of, one, for me, coaching tree. Two, again, with even Trevor Siemian and Les, they were able to beat the Buccaneers and Tom Brady even, too. So facing, I'd say, the Atlanta Falcons, who struggle, I think, too, to get the running game unless it's, Cordarrelle Patterson, try and get him open. He seems to be the jackknife for them, like the Taysom Hill to the Falcons.
Right.
It is going to be, I think, a tight game just because, again, it is a divisional game. They're rivals. It's going to be rough. But here in New Orleans, I think the crowd's going to be super hyped. And you said that the Falcons, again, Calvin Ridley, no show again. Now it's just like, I got to work on my mental health. Peace, I'm out. And left the team just like that. So,
and that's understandable.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but not having that weapon again there too, where they were already struggling to find weapons for this team, it's going to be rough for them. And the New Orleans Saints still have Alvin Kamara, so I think that's a key factor for them. I like the Saints at home. All right, the Vegas Raiders and the New York Giants. Joe and I are going to be at this game.
We're going to be there.
It's going to be super hype, bro.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. We're not going to be sitting next to each other, but you know what? I looked at the seating charts, though. Yeah. We're on 204. We're over here. Say this is the stadium.
Okay.
We're over here on the same level that you are, and you're over here on the same end zone. So end zone to end zone.
Oh,
We're on this corner over, so we can basically get out of our seat, walk across the catwalk, and go right to you. Hi, Joe. Go over there.
Yes.
From scoreboard to scoreboard. It's right there, the screens. Yeah, that's pretty
cool.
interesting, right?
Nice.
Right below us. I'm sorry I don't remember the guy's name. I apologize. But that guy that broadcasts on TikTok that our buddy Zach knows that wants us to meet, he is in the section right below our seats. So we're going to go jump down there and talk to him. We're going to see him before the game, too, as well. So we got a lot of people in that game. And at the tailgating, I got Restream on my phone now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stream live from this thing, from the parking lot. We're going to talk to whoever I can. I'm going to try to talk to Giants fans, Raiders fans that are out there, just to get a beat on this game and what they think. So it's going to be a lot of fun, this game. So make sure you guys are keeping active, So go to YouTube, subscribe, get that notification bell going. And if you watch us on Facebook too and all of the others, notification bell. It'll let you know right when we go live, so you guys can check that out, because we're going to get there early before the game starts. So we're trying to get that out for you guys on Sunday morning. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But Vegas Raiders without Henry Ruggs now, Joe. What do you think? You weren't here for that earlier part. Yeah. I'm sure you were listening to the show a little bit. But what's your take on this, and how does it affect your team?
I don't think this. How am I going to put this? It doesn't really affect the team as far as game planning, because all the receivers on the Raiders roster know how to play every position. So I don't feel like they're going to – the only thing that you could say is like, oh, now they're missing a speed element to their offense to kind of take the top off of the defense deep down the field. However, I don't think they need it. They don't need to throw deep. You know what I mean? Listen, they can expose any kind of defense that's going up against them. I mean, when they got guys like Darren Waller and they got Hunter Renfrow and they got a young up and coming player in Bryan Edwards, they also have a guy like everybody that frowns upon him back in Buffalo where he used to play, is Zay Jones. This is going to be his big opportunity right now. Now it's about next man's got to step up. Zay Jones is going to be inserted into the starting lineup, and let's see what they can all do. As far as Ruggs goes and his whole situation, it's a terrible situation. It's unbelievably frustrating and disappointing for football fans, for anybody out there with this kind of a situation that occurs when a life is lost due to a player's lack of thought, lack of discipline, lack of just being a human being. I mean, if you're going to go partying out, the night before you have to go back to work. It wasn't even their day off the next day. You have to get back to work at 3:30, whatever in the morning.
It's like 3:40, yeah.
You're driving drunk in your sports car, flying down the road, and you cause an accident and kill the person you hit. Not to mention causing major harm to his girlfriend that was in the passenger seat of his brand new Corvette. This is the problem with young players getting a lot of money and not being smart. That's what it comes down to. So Ruggs deserves everything that is going up against him right now. You know, listen, in the state of Nevada, he's guaranteed. This is a Class B felony in the state of Nevada. Automatically, he will at least get 2 years in jail. He could get anywhere up to 7 years or more in jail, and a fine of $2,000 to $5,000. Whatever they decide, that's his punishment, and he needs to really think about what just happened, because he possibly could have ruined everything. Could have ruined his life, his own life. He ruined someone else's life and someone else's family's life. And he also ruined maybe the life of his girlfriend, or not to mention his career. Like that seems to be like it's going to, at 22 years old, he just did that in a blink of an eye. Yep. So guys, when you go out to partying and you guys you want to drive your fancy cars and everything, players, you got to be smart. When you go out, why are you going out to drive around your sports car and drive drunk? You can get Uber, limo service. Hello, like that doesn't cost nothing for them. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. Get a limo service. Go party out. Yeah, drink your face off, and then you're going to get home safely, and you're not going to hurt anybody in the process. So I am greatly disappointed as a Raiders fan in the utter fucking ridiculousness of this. It's absolutely absurd, and it's disappointing, and this is the kind of thing that the league really needs to concentrate on. And I know they do this orientation, this rookie symposium, before they even start the season. They get all the rookies together and like, oh, this is how you handle your finances. This is how you handle yourself on and off the field. That isn't enough, because there needs to be more awareness brought to this, because this happens all the time. Guys drink, they go out partying late, and then they get into trouble. Whether it be, oh, I got an illegal gun in my trunk. You know what I mean? Like Frank Clark and his whole deal. He's still playing.
That's the thing, too. Now they found the loaded pistol in his car, too, as well. So now he could be facing other charges on top of it, too.
It's just
multiple mistakes.
It's just dumb decision after dumb decision. And it is what it is. Like, now Ruggs is going to be seen as like another Dante Stallworth. If anybody remembers that, he did the same freaking thing. He got drunk. He killed somebody. He went to court for it. He got a suspension from the league, came back into the league, played another 2 years before he retired. But this is absolutely ridiculous. This has got to stop. This is unbelievable. I can't. I don't know.
All right, now let's get back to the game then. The Vegas Raiders at the New York Giants. The Giants played tough against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs were making so many mistakes. The Giants made their own. I mean, but they're a bad team. So the Chiefs, the mistakes that they made, though, is still unbelievable.
The Giants. Oh, my God. Seminus, what the fuck?
Yeah, see, that's what it's like being a Giant. It was over. It was done.
It was a pick, and that was going to end the game.
Yep.
And because he didn't want to watch the ball, he wanted to time the snap and everything, and he jumped too early.
Yep.
Dude.
Every time.
They had to get a first down.
And that's the difference between the Giants being really like 5-2, or whatever. I think they were 2-6, or I'd say 4 and what 4-3 or 4-4. I mean, there's a difference between having a winning record and a losing record. Mm-hmm. And they if you swap that game, the football game, and the other team that it was close, I think the Falcons game, bonehead mistakes just at the end. It's a different narrative right now for the Giants. Yeah. The story is look at them fighting through the injuries, the diversity that they're facing, and then some of the teams that they would be ended up beating, during it all. This was the best time to play the Chiefs because they are struggling right now. Yeah, you could have beat them before the season started. I already marked it off as a loss.
Right,
they should have beat them. But they should have beat Washington football team, should have beat the Falcons, and should have beat the Broncos. They should have beat the Broncos. They were, I thought, even a better team than them. But again, the lack of discipline and just the injuries compounding again on top of everything. You can't deny that it is. And I don't give excuses for why the team is bad all the time. I already know they're bad, but surprisingly enough, they've been able to stay in these games with fourth or fifth string wide receivers. Like, I mean, I think was his name Colin Johnson or some shit is their next his wide receiver that's there, number 15. You know what I mean? Like, who the hell's 15? Colin Johnson. Darius Slayton can't catch a ball anymore for some reason.
Wow, what is up with that?
Brick hands, and. Daniel Jones, everybody wants to bust him, but he's doing what he can with what he had.
Hey, I'll give props to Daniel Jones this season. He's doing what he has to and what he can do only with what the offense is giving him. The offensive line isn't giving him a lot of time to sit back there and throw the ball. He's pressured all the time. Even when they run the ball, they don't open up running lanes. So it's like Devontae Booker at this time has to make something happen.
Right. Make it happen.
Because the offensive line's not making it happen.
Right.
So,
and then even now Skura's got the injuries with the COVID.
Right.
He's got COVID. He's out. And then you've got Saquon that tests. Now he looks like he's going to come back and then now test positive for his COVID.
Yeah, right.
And Xavier McKinney's out with COVID.
Yep.
So just when we thought we were making it right,
you're getting guys
because
back,
Jabril Peppers out, which I'm kind of fine with again.
Yeah.
I'm like, now we've got McKinney on the inside. I'm like putting these players all in the pieces. I'm like, this is it. This is the setup. Right. Yeah. And now McKinney's out. Now Saquon's not there to run, which we're doing without him anyways. But again, you were filling in guys on that offensive line that was injured too as well. And now who's going to be starting, in the tackle spot? But also, how's that defense going to play now? The game plan. For me, the Giants right now, I think they should. You probably heard again when I was talking about it earlier. Double team Waller and then try and key up on Jacobs. And then if Bryan Edwards gets his, or Hunter Renfrow, he's definitely going to get his underneath. Keep it underneath like they did against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is that they have other weapons. Like the thing is that teams have been
trying to focus on the main.
But teams have been doing that. They've been double teaming Waller to limit his catching ability or his gains of yards that he can drum up. But they're okay with that because that leaves everybody else single coverage. You know what I mean? So they end up distributing it to Renfro, to now Zay Jones, to Brian Edwards, and they're all getting involved. Not to mention, everybody kind of, everyone's concentrating on Waller, obviously. He's a weapon. But then they also have their backup tight end, Foster Moreau, who's almost just as good as Waller, but no one really knows about him. And they're using Kenyon Drake now more often out of the backfield, and Josh Jacobs. I feel like they're not running now that Gruden is out of that play calling duties and kind of out of the building. I feel like the offense is now more orchestrated to being more aggressive. It's not being as complacent as it used to be with Gruden, and they're mixing it up. They're not running it nearly as much as when Gruden was there. So they're doing a good job of mixing up the offensive play calls. And for the Giants, it sucks. Now they're losing Xavier McKinney. They already lost Peppers. So what happens there now? Now, who's going back to safety? Now, do they just move Logan Ryan back to safety? Because that's what happened when he originally came to the Giants. I feel like that might be something that they're going to explore.
They've got Logan Ryan there at safety, but you've also got Love that's going to be playing back there now. That's the thing you would have to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if you don't, then what else do you got? Because then you've got Darnay Holmes there at corner, along with Desean Jackson still.
Yeah, that's what it has to be.
And that's what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
So, but then that's your skeleton crew. Anybody else goes down again, now you're looking back at like their 6th round pick that they picked this year. I forget who that was, but again, a no namer.
Not proven. Just not
absolutely.
proven.
And then again, Sterling Shepard done. Or at least injured this week. Again. So your offensive weapons, Kenny Galladay still not going to be back.
He's not this week? He's not coming back this week?
Nope, not this week either. Kadarius Toney has an injury with his hand, but limited practice, but he'll probably try.
He's going to play.
That's the one thing I like about this guy.
He's going to play.
He tries, and he tries to get back out there, and he wants to be a big part of this offense, and he can be.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? But, again, the injury bug on top of everything. So when you look at this game, I'm going to be there cheering for my Giants, and hopefully it goes right for me. But looking at the teams and where they are, and health-wise, too, as well, I think the Raiders still have the Giants' number on this one here. So I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders.
This is going to be a tougher game than I think most people are giving it.
I think it's going to be tight still.
I think it's going to be extremely tight.
I hope so. I'm excited about this game.
To be honest with you, I mean, because here's the thing that people aren't really addressing here is for this game, it's going to come down to the trenches. Not so much offensive, the secondary versus the receivers or anything like that. I feel like this is going to just be in the trenches. Who can win the trench war this week? Raiders offensive line, which is kind of, they're beat up too, but the Giants D-line has been looking pretty nice, recently. So they could really kind of create more pressure, maybe get into, Derek Carr's face a little bit more, maybe, throw off some timing patterns and whatnot. And I feel like this is going to be a battle back and forth. And we've also seen the Raiders, surprisingly, their defense now and their D-line is the strength of this team. Defensively, and their bright young corners are starting to get better and further develop as they play this season. Nate Hobbs has been one of the biggest sleepers, out of the draft, and he's being able to start outside, play inside, and defend well against opposing receivers. So overall, this is going to be a battle of the trenches. It's going to be Raiders D-line versus Giants O, and vice versa. So this is going to be a great game. But I'm going to go with my Vegas Raiders on this one. Despite as much as I hate picking games that they travel on the East Coast, I'm going to go with them on this one.
All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, that's true. You forget about that aspect. That they don't very – when they go to East Coast, they don't perform very well. By the way, Joe.
1 o'clock games.
For your birthday, I ended up getting you this nice plaque right here over your thing. So
Thank
Raider
you, buddy.
Nation representing.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers. Now, this one I think is kind of interesting for me here, too.
Right.
You've got P.J. Walker that's going to be probably starting in this game. So that's going to be a different aspect for the Carolina Panthers here. And Mac Jones and the New England Patriots, they're really starting to really come out and really start to perform it and really dish out some punishment on some of these teams here and show that now, when everybody wants to give all this credit to Tom Brady now and what he's winning the deal on the breakup or whatever. Look at the star players he has for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what I mean? And look how he looked last week even too. So, I mean, if you just like you said, if you get pressure here and there and blah, blah, he's not going to perform well. Any kind of quarterback never does when they're pressured like that.
Right. And the other thing, too, is you look at this and like everybody talks about Tom Brady being such an amazing quarterback that he can actually lift your team no matter what the odds are.
Right.
But here's the thing. Look at this. So back in New England, let's rewind it a little bit. Back in New England, when he had receivers, they've always had a really good offensive line to protect Tom. But he also had receivers, and when he did, he could kill you. When they didn't have receivers, his last season, especially last couple of seasons, he didn't play as well when he didn't have those receivers. He had pass protection, but no receivers to throw to, and struggled. And he struggled more the last season that he was with the Patriots because they literally had nothing, no talent at all. And, I mean, Jacoby Myers was his favorite target, but other than that, he had nothing. And he struggled because of that. And they missed the playoffs because of that. Now he goes to a new team in Tampa who have a load of weapons, a pretty darn good offensive line, and is now killing it once again. So, perfect example is like no quarterback creates the team. You know what I mean? Yeah, good quarterbacks obviously make your team better, but he's not the end-all, be-all, just like anybody else.
Yeah, and like the Saints proved, you go more man coverage on Tom Brady, you could beat him. Basically,
and
that's how you do it.
That's the funny thing is it's not a secret formula.
Yeah.
This has been known since he was in New England. You know what I mean? And what baffles me is that teams that do play predominant zone, they stay playing zone against Tom.
Yeah.
And he just shreds them.
Yeah.
And they don't make any adjustments. It's like, listen, haven't you seen the game tape 10 years ago when a team played man-to-man and he struggled mightily? He was overthrowing guys and not really connecting, and the offense was as stagnant. Why don't you just do that again?
Right, and he openly just about admitted it without exactly
Oh,
admitting
yes,
it. When because I've been watching more of the Manning cast too, as well with Eli and stuff. And when they had him on Tom Brady and stuff like that, Peyton's more like he's like, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that I like man better because I can get the ball out quicker? Because if a guy beats a guy, I could see it. I didn't like zone so much because it makes me hold on to the ball so much. And Tom Brady was more like, I don't know. I kind of like, I don't really like man. You can tell he's trying to say it without giving it away.
Right,
but I think he gave out enough because you and I already know that he hates man. So we're like, he loves zone. He ain't going to say what he does. And it seems like the Saints were watching that, and they're like, oh, yeah, we got this then, and this is what we're going to do. So they were able to take him out that way, and it's not really a mystery here. All right, we've got Bob Money's in the house with us tonight, Joe. Holy moly, Bob Money's in the house.
It has been a while, man. It's been a minute.
All right, Henry Ruggs doing big things in Vegas.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, right. The whole situation's sad, and like I brought about it earlier. Again, for somebody to lose their life at 23, and then it's just over just because of somebody else's stupidity and recklessness, and that's always a sad thing. But yeah, they'll move on, and another if anything, people should learn from this.
Absolutely.
Not only players but people in general.
Absolutely, Jim. That's a great comment because listen, Ruggs is only 22 years old, and he quite possibly just ruined his life, someone else's life, and others just by this one instant of not being disciplined enough or being smart enough to make the right decision.
Absolutely. So let's get back to the New England Patriots. We really got onto the Tom Brady thing, but the New England Patriots, they're playing well. Carolina, their defense hasn't been doing so well. They're really kind of missing that aspect of having Christian McCaffrey back there. I know Chuba Hubbard, he still runs hard, and he's really getting the yardage for them.
He's no McCaffrey.
Just that Darnold thing still has not been able to work out for them. Now literally knocked out of the game and done. So PJ Walker there, he made a name for himself through the XFL. Out there like, look at this guy. Who's this guy? Where did he come from? And he was in the NFL for a stint one time. Nobody ever noticed him there. It's because he wasn't good enough.
That's right.
So now he's going to try and do things with this team, but I don't think it's enough. I like the New England Patriots, even though Carolina's at home.
Yeah, I mean, here's the disappointing thing is that the Panthers, just when you think that they have a shot.
Just
like
when you think you have a shot.
Like Carolina Panthers defense, what I will say about them is they've been playing pretty good. The only thing is they've been playing most of the game.
Yeah.
So they're getting dog tired by times second half comes. So with Sam Darnold getting that concussion, getting knocked out, that kind of really hindered their offense as well. Now it looks like he might not be able to be ready for this week. If that's the case, and they are going with P.J. Walker, this could be a chance where New England's going to really kind of put it to them. And we all know Bill Belichick loves to put it to any team that he faces. Patriots defense has been playing extremely well. The offense is clicking every single week better and better with Mac Jones at the helm there. And I got New England all day on this one.
Alrighty. What do we got here next? We got the Buffalo
the
Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here we go.
Duval!
The Buffalo Bills. Nice. Yeah, Jacksonville again really didn't do anything last week. You know what I mean? It was nice that we didn't pick them at all for that one, but they really never even showed up.
No.
I thought it was gonna be a little closer than it was, and they just like, no, we're not gonna even be here. But now they face a tough opponent, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills has showed there is a little bit of a chink in their armor, that they are beatable. But this particular week, I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars have enough to get it done here. They're still trying to find themselves, still working through the kinks within their head coach, within the young players that they have. It's not enough. I like the Buffalo Bills in this one straight up. I mean, I'm not going to waste a lot of whole time on that one.
No, not a lot of time on that one.
No, not really.
Well, on one side in Jacksonville, you have a pretty messed up team that hasn't gotten any kind of traction whatsoever this season. They added some nice pieces. They got Trevor Lawrence, hopefully their quarterback of the future, but they lose DJ Chark, gone for the season, a big weapon for them, and it seems like it's spiraling a little bit out of control there. Buffalo, one of the best teams in football right now. Defensively, offensively, they are killing it. I don't expect anything else less from them. Buffalo gets this win easy.
Absolutely. Like Mike said, maybe they get the running game going, though, a little more for this team. Josh Allen cannot be the guy that's leading your team in rushing and doing it all himself.
That's what he's doing the best.
Yeah, nice. All right, and you know what, Joe? Let's take some time and tell everybody about our friends from Johnstone Supply here.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm feeling cold a little bit. We're down here doing our show. It's a little chilly. It's starting to get a little chilly out.
Yeah, the outside weather is changing. Listen, I walked out to my car this morning, and I saw frost.
Yeah.
Yeah, frost. You know what that means? Winter.
Mm-hmm.
And that means really cold temperatures. So if you don't want to be cold in your home this season, I recommend you hit up our boys from Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York, 6th Avenue in Troy, New York. Hit them up. If you need to upgrade your heating, ventilation, anything like that, if you need new filters for your furnace or anything like that, make sure you hit our boys up at Johnstone Supply. They are there. They are waiting for you guys. They are waiting and willing to help all of you out there. If you have any needs whatsoever to keep your house warm, they're the people to call at 518-272-5922. Hit them up, and you can also hit them up on Facebook. And you can send a message to them real quickly, text message them there that way. But make sure if you are in need to keep yourself warm, or even if you have any questions about any kind of advancements that might be happening or upgrades that are out there, make sure you give them a call, 518-272-5922, 6th Avenue in Troy, New York, Johnstone Supply. They are great. Get a hold of Tom, James, and the rest of the staff there. They are ready to help you, and let them know who sent you. Football on the No Show from Godzilla Media.
Yeah, absolutely. Let them know that we sent you there, man. Yeah, definitely. We love those guys over there. And now talking about the cold, and that's what I mean. They just had all that Buffalo near Buffalo. It was all slush and snow and everything they just had.
Well,
we missed it all, but we got the cold over
here.
Here's
the craziest thing, as you know, because I'm late. I was way up in
no
man's
there,
land.
That's where they get.
I was way up in no man's land.
Snow up there, huh?
I was even north of Ticonderoga today.
Wow.
And there was snow.
Yeah.
There was snow on the ground.
God
I'm
damn
like,
it.
keep it up here. I don't want it.
It did. It was weird. It was like it went right away from right around us, right around the Albany region, right over. But
it was crazy.
Like I said, hit up Johnstone Supply to get for all your heating needs. The Minnesota Vikings here and the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens looked like they were having some struggles here too as well in the last game they had played. But you know what? After watching that last game with the Minnesota Vikings, they weren't able to handle Cooper Rush and that offense. They didn't even run a lot. The Cowboys didn't run a lot, and Cooper Rush was still able to get it done. Just sat in the pocket and took what they gave him basically.
Absolutely. They were wide open.
Yeah, wide open guys.
Open.
Absolutely. So it kind of made it easy. And Minnesota, like I said, their offense I thought was very bland last week.
Yep.
They need to be able to run the ball more, but nobody runs it better than the Baltimore Ravens. I like the Baltimore Ravens here at home.
Yeah, I mean this game right here. This is kind of like a game where Minnesota needs this game. They really do to kind of get back into the win column. And I'm actually disappointed in the defense most of all. Offensively, yeah, they spit and sputtered, especially last week. But defensively, what's going on, Mike? Coach Zimmer, like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be the defensive guru for this team, and last week, guys were not just open; they were completely wide open. Where there was not when a TV camera looks at them, there was no purple jerseys around them, and they were catching balls like that and having free will to do whatever they wanted in the passing game. That begs the question. It doesn't look like there's much, answers in Minnesota. So, I mean, it's hard for me to go against Baltimore, which they're very hard to play at home. And that's where they are this week, is in home. And they get Lamar Jackson, back healthy. I think this is going to really kind of catapult this team. I got Baltimore all day long. I like their defense has been struggling the last couple of weeks, but I think they're going to be able to come back together in this one and be able to put it to the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, next up we got the Los Angeles Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia with a big showing last week. Holy moly, how about that?
What's going on?
Freaking pounding.
I don't understand this team at all.
I don't either. But they met, I think, the team that was just. Again, not that we knew they weren't going to be.
It could have went either
way. Well, but
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't expect a blowing out like that. But
no.
And then the Chargers just coming up short. Some late turnover on a receiver that wasn't even turned around. I just don't get what you're doing in that whole route. But anyways, again, coming off that bye, facing the Patriots and just not being able to get it done.
Bill was ready.
Another team. To where you're thinking they were turning things around. They were going to compete for this division, make a playoff run, especially with these Chiefs not being able to get some wins and looking really bad and really beatable. Now you've got issues. And now the Chiefs, if they could pull off a win here against the Green Bay Packers now with Love here at quarterback and not Aaron Rodgers, they're kind of back in this conversation here for that division.
Absolutely, and it's hard to pick against the Chargers. I know they lost last week, but they lost against a really good team and one of the better defenses that they'll play this season. Very disciplined team. So the Chargers, they were gonna make some mistakes, and it showed. Chargers offense is explosive as it's been. I feel like this is a game where they can kind of get back on track. Yes, they're traveling to Philly. Yes, it's probably going to be a little colder than they like. However, I think the Chargers are going to have a good game plan. I love this coaching staff that they assembled with Brandon Stokely and the rest of the staff. I really like what the Chargers got going for them. Their coaching staff is really smart. They have great game plans. And for the most part, this team is executing very well. I like the Chargers going into Philly and stealing a win from the Eagles.
All right, we've got a couple of comments out there. We got No Donnie in the house with us tonight.
Welcome to the show, No Donnie.
The Red Sea, he's a Cardinals fan. He's got the Bird Gang out there. And then we've got a couple comments here. Mike Tackett says, with Snead and Ruggs out in Vegas, does it open the door for Desean Jackson, Larry Fitz, or OBJ to come to Las Vegas? And No Donnie says, Fitz is going to any team. Stop. Fitz isn't. I know that's what he meant.
Probably,
isn't. Yeah, going to anything. Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure what he meant.
Yeah,
I didn't think so either for that. But and the talk is Desean Jackson, especially Vegas Raiders fans out there, they're all about the Desean Jackson going to.
I don't know why. You want a guy to come to your team to not play?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's always injured.
Yeah, exactly. So you're facing things like that, and then OBJ, he can't get out of his own way again. So and he's always injured now.
And that's the thing about OBJ too. That whole situation
the package
about him being sent home. This tells me that they're going to move on from him.
Oh yeah,
they quite honestly, they could possibly release him by tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then just let him go wherever he wants to go, and that's it. Wipe their hands on him. But I wish Cleveland decided that sooner. Like before the trade deadline, and try to call some teams up and maybe get some interest, maybe get some compensation. I mean, that to me wasn't a smart decision on their part, because they came out and said, "Oh no, he's not on the trade block." Well, why not? If you're already having issues with him, off the field or on the sideline or whatever, or with the coaching staff, make a move, get rid of him. Listen, the previous year he didn't play all year, and you guys were successful somewhat on offense. You guys were rolling, you guys were making things happen, and then OBJ comes back and he's not the make or break of this team. So why not move away from him, get what you could have before the trade deadline, and then both parties are happy. Maybe he gets to go somewhere else like he wanted, and
they could have made this move a year ago.
Absolutely. We talked about it a year ago.
We did. And then you saw it, like I remember seeing the new jersey unveiling. Mm-hmm. You know how they go to the players when they open the box and let's see what it is. And they show Baker and they show their OBJ takes the box, throws it on his chair, looks at the box, starts to open it, pulls the jersey up. Didn't care at all.
Yeah.
Just looking at it like
you
here
could
it
see
is.
you could see the emotions on him
in his face.
Yeah.
He did not care.
Right.
Was looking at it like, I probably won't be wearing this year. Like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And that was a year or so ago.
But here's the thing, too, about OBJ. Is OBJ, how many chances do you think you're going to get to stay in the NFL, to be, when you first came in as this prolific receiver coming from college, he was amazing for the Giants. Amazing. But then we started to get to know him a little bit more. Now he's got antics on and off the field. He's a problem in the locker room. He's causing some turmoil. And his ego is just kind of overtaking space in an organization, which is they got to a point where, like, we got to move on from this guy. He's not good for our team. He goes to Cleveland, and the same kind of thing is starting to stir up, but not as blown up as it was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's kind of like a sideline issue. It's kind of like face-to-face kind of coaching staff, turmoil a little bit. But now it's happening once again, just in a different way. And it's like, if he moves, like, it's obviously they're going to move on from him. If he gets cut tomorrow and he goes to, I don't know, Chicago for some reason, right? Or Miami Dolphins or wherever he goes, and he signs, how much longer does he think he's going to be able to pull this charade off, team to team to team? Because I tell you right now, it's 3 strikes and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if he has the same kind of behavior with the third team that he's on, there's no help for him. He's another Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that just brings cancer wherever he goes. So that's what I see from OBJ, and we'll have to wait and see how this all
Donald
shakes out.
Hahn in the house. He says OBJ was
Desean. He said, first of all, Desean Jackson makes sense going to the Vegas Raiders.
He said OBJ is selfish. That's right. The Browns are better without him. And then No Donnie says Browns are definitely better without him last year.
Absolutely.
Mike Tackett says OBJ has made a career from one catch almost 7 years ago. Not worth the money or the ego, in my opinion. And that's the thing, too. Because when you look at OBJ, you can even say, was he more of a created player due to lack of weapons by the Giants? Because that particular year, that's all they did was feed him the ball because they had nothing else there.
Right, but he is a gifted receiver. You can see it in his route running. You can listen, when he was healthy, he was unstoppable. It didn't matter. And even when teams were double teaming him because he was the only guy to go to, he was still making big plays. So I think he's a very gifted receiver when healthy, and that's a big if with him.
But his ego also carries it out to the field, because if you look at that drop pass that he had this past week, he goes for the ball with one hand.
Yeah.
If he just goes for it,
are you talking about the one where he fell on his shoulder and hurt himself again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he got hurt, and that's why he ended up probably dropping the pass.
Yeah, he should have just went and caught the ball instead of trying to one-handed.
But that's what I'm saying. Because of him coming down and getting injured, he wasn't able to complete the catch.
I know. I'm just again. I think what happens in his brain again is I'm confident enough I can make these one-handed catches, whatever, instead of going for the complete correct way to make a pass, like in stride or whatever, is what you get in some of these guys' heads. You've seen it. It's not NFL. Talent, but we've seen it in flag leagues and the other leagues where guys they just see a pass and they want to, I can go try and one-hand this one, and they get into that kind of groove of trying to do that instead of really make the better completed accurate catch for the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem here. And then when there are issues, he sees himself as a bigger entity, like I said, still living off of that dream that he was before, and he's not really producing it as much to where now teams are just saying, dude, you're not worth it. He's talented, he says here. No, Donnie says, not all there. The lights are on. Nobody's home. Mike Tackett says kicking nets are undefeated versus OBJ.
That is a true statement.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is you got all these memes that go around with him as well. That's why, I mean, you see the talent that he could have. Right. What's the contract, and with the antics, I don't see him going to the Raiders after even suffering what they saw with going through the Gruden thing, which is bad press, going through this Ruggs thing, which is bad press, and I don't think they're going to be like, hey, let's bring OBJ in now. This is a great idea.
But here's the thing.
I think the safer
Raiders
bet is the Desean Jackson, if anything. Like I said, you could get low cost, basically, whatever, and some upside.
But here's what I'll tell you about that. Is you got Desean Jackson, who it's only going to be a one-year deal no matter where he signs. How long is he going to be healthy? Just like how long is OBJ going to be healthy? So if I'm a GM, I'm taking the younger guy and hoping he can stay healthy. Because for me, Desean Jackson is a one-trick pony. Listen, he's been a deep threat his whole career. He's been extremely successful when he was back with the Eagles.
Oh,
original team,
we know
right?
He'll never get back there. Yeah.
But then, now that he's getting older, he gets hurt more often. He's just not available for a team. He's definitely going to sign somewhere, just like he ended up with the Rams this season. But if I have my choice, I would rather roll the dice on OBJ because of his youth. And here's the other thing: is you talk about having a cheap contract. Well, there's nothing else that OBJ is going to get. He's not going to get a $19 million contract anymore. That ship has sailed. Now he's at the point, and this is going to be his third team he goes to. They're going to be incentive laden. Whatever contract or whatever team he goes to, it's definitely going to be incentive laden. It's not going to be here. We're going to hand you the keys. We're going to give you $18 million a year for the next 5 years, and that's what we're going to do. It's going to be whatever organization does, in fact, sign him. It's going to be incentive laden. It's not going to be a huge lump sum in terms of guarantees, and he's going to have to live with that. And if he doesn't want to, he'll sit out the rest of the season.
Oh, absolutely. So we kind of got off topic or whatever, but that was great
that's
conversation.
Good. It's
You
good
guys
stuff.
out there,
Come on.
absolutely keep the comments going. If you guys want to bring up whatever you want out there, that's great. We're always down to talk.
All right. We're talking Green Bay, Kansas City. No Aaron Rodgers.
Did we cover the Chargers? Did you pick Philadelphia or did you pick the Chargers?
I picked the Chargers.
Picked the Chargers. I wasn't sure if we finished that or not.
Yeah, we already went.
I'm going to go with the Chargers too as well. I hate the Eagles, and I still
You
think
should
last
hate
week
the
they should have
Eagles.
probably beat that team by that much. But yes,
And you want the Chargers to beat
and
the
I want the
Eagles.
Chargers too. Yes. All right, now the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, Aaron Rodgers not there. That's a big factor here with this one. Kansas City Chiefs.
Probably no Devontae Adams again.
I think this is a good one again for the Chiefs to come back in. Luckily, they're going to be at home. That crowd gets electric. That last game was they were screaming.
Oh,
their
they were
balls off,
electric. But
going
I
crazy.
mean,
but TV is going to miss their this was going to be like their game of the week. And now it's not. They're not going to have Aaron Rodgers
They
in it.
need to
so,
flex this.
Yes, so it needs
Flex
to be
it.
out. It's just going to be an ugly game, I think, altogether. But I think Green Bay's offensive line is better than the Kansas City Chiefs' offensive line, so that's going to be
100%.
better a better matchup for them. But I think overall, you got to look at the quarterbacks, and I'm just going to go safe bet with Patrick Mahomes. Hope that he can not turn it over as much, and go with them. But I think overall, they need to run the ball more. Stop putting it all on Patrick Mahomes. Get a little more balanced. That'll alleviate some of that, and then get that pressure and get some of those guys cheating up. So now you can get the ball to Tyreek Hill and get your guys, the ball.
Absolutely.
Your key playmakers.
I mean, here's the thing: is the Chiefs. What did they do last week? Maybe they were listening on our show because we did mention that about running the ball more. Well, this young kid that came out of nowhere, Derek Gore.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It looks like the second coming of Priest Holmes, for God's sakes. This guy is a bull in a china closet. Guy that's going to knock people over and keep going. He's made people miss last week. He caught the ball a couple times out of the backfield. He can do it all. In fact, I would say he should be the starter right now. But all in all, they got back to keeping it more of a balanced offense, and that helped them. Although they should not have won that game. I'm sorry, but the Giants had that. But now it's staying in Kansas City. They're home again. They got the crowd behind them. Green Bay's coming in limping. I mean, I don't know what to expect from this offense. Defensively, they're going to be okay. But offensively, you got Jordan Love now is going to be the quarterback. And listen, we've seen Jordan Love before as the starter, and it didn't look too pretty. So I think this is definitely a game that, as long as the Chiefs can slow down this running game, and that's going to be the key, is can they stop Aaron Jones? Can they stop A.J. Dillon from running the football? And if they can do that, all the pressure's on Jordan Love, and I feel like that's going to be where the Chiefs can kind of take advantage and maybe get a couple of turnovers off of him, and creating that pressure. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Kansas City on this one as well.
The Mike Tackett, he says, what's the policy on compensatory picks? When a player's contract is voided, does that grant a team a compensatory pick given the terms were voided, or is the main benefit saving on cap space?
The main benefit is to save on cap space. Because that contract is voided, that player is no longer in that formula for compensation for a pick to be received. So because, like, I don't know if you're alluding to like maybe Ruggs and how they released them, and now that's all done with. So any kind of guaranteed money, they still have to pay Ruggs. It's not going to be much if any, because it's a rookie deal. And other than that, that's just to save cap space.
All right, I'm going to close this one window, trying to reload that. But got to get Mike Tackett's picks on this one again. I'll look back at that in a second. But he says Green Bay will run the ball 30-plus times, no quarterback, wide receiver, or tight end. That's right, Robert Tunyon's done. Going to be a physical game for the Pack. Yes. That's what I said earlier on. It's like they got to really get Aaron Jones involved, and that's got to be their main deal. Look what they did last week with him. That dude was straight balling. Yeah. So then it opened it up to where all you needed was a Randall Cobb in the end zone. And
that's when you had Aaron.
Yeah.
This is a different thing. So
it is.
That's where good defenses, Steve Spagnuolo, listen up if you want to win. You have to stop this run and put all the pressure on Jordan Love and have him try to take the team on his shoulders and move him down the field, which we know we've struggled before.
Well, this is going to be a little interesting, I think, for the Packers. I'm kind of interested to see this whole thing and see what Mike Tackett thinks of this, because the Packers will kind of get to experience what I've been experiencing for the last 10 years probably, because Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be with this team next year. He's not going to be a Green Bay Packer.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Why is that?
Because I think he's just out. This is his farewell tour. He's out. They've already agreed to terms to shorten up his contract and to part ways.
For Aaron Jones?
No, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. So now you've got Jordan Love in there. This is going to be your quarterback.
Yeah.
So you're going to see what it is.
But
you're going to see whether it's going to be good, it's going to be bad.
Here's the thing.
You get to see roll out. This is what you're going to be dealing with next season unless they draft somebody else.
They're going to probably have to. because it's
so.
Listen, they've seen bits and pieces of Jordan Love, and there's not too much you can love about him. I mean, listen, he's given opportunities here and there, not a lot, but a little bit. Under the microscope, what we've seen from him, it doesn't look pretty. And he's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers this whole time, so you would think that he would start to develop, start to get a little bit better. We'll see this week, and this has got to be the deciding factor, because Aaron Rodgers is definitely out of the building. There's no doubt about it. That's why he redid his contract, like you mentioned. That's why he's going to be able to be a free agent. They cannot tag him at the end of the year, and he's going to make his own decision, whether he wants to re-sign with the Packers or maybe he wants to go elsewhere. That's going to be all on him. It sounds like he's going to be moving on. And that's going to have a ripple effect for the rest of this team, because you also look at guys like Devontae Adams. He's in a contract year. Now, difference is the Packers could technically tag Adams, but then you're paying him for 1 year an immense amount of money. And the Packers don't normally pay that kind of huge salary for a player. We'll have to reevaluate this next offseason in terms of salary cap, and so forth, to see if they could even afford Devontae Adams and if it's a smart move. So, Rodgers, yes, he's moving on. And here's the thing is Green Bay, you're going to get a taste of some medicine here, because if you since you traded back into the first round to take Jordan Love, this is the guy that you were handpicking as the successor for Aaron Rodgers. Not to mention in the second round following, you drafted another running back. Is this what you want? Because you want to move on from Rodgers? You want to move on from even Aaron Jones might be getting a little frustrated at this point, because I thought I was the guy, and now you're starting to put A.J. Dillon in more to kind of break it up. So I don't know. This Packers team going forward could look very different come next season.
Yeah, Mike Tackett says this is the last dance for A-Rod. Love's performance on Sunday will be his audition for where Green Bay's drafts quarterback in April. Love nor Blake Bortles is the future in Green Bay.
And there you have it.
And he says, and he's picking the Chiefs. He has the Eagles, Joe.
He does.
With the Chargers. He has the Eagles. He has the Ravens, the Bills, Panthers. He has the Panthers. Right there.
I would have picked Carolina
Bills.
if Darnold was going to be available.
It's going to be interesting. Maybe he believes. I think Mike Tackett has followed P.J. Walker through his career.
At all.
I mean, maybe he believes in the Walker.
I've seen enough from him. Even against the Jets, he didn't look good.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying. He gets to see the audition, get to see what you get out of Love, and maybe there you go. There becomes the saga of who's the next Aaron Rodgers, or what they're going to do with this Green Bay Packers team. Is it going to be the start of the rebuild, or are they going to be able to retool and do something with that? So we'll see. Wish you luck on that one. Yeah, but you know what? What a better defense to play against. If they can hold that offensive line is good. That's what I'm saying. The
really
offensive line is good. I think they can contain that pass rush of Chris Jones
100%.
and Frank Clark. So now you're looking at that leaky secondary.
Yeah.
What a better secondary to kind of get your opening going, especially if you get that run going. And what's better with the run game, you get the open play action pass, and that'll help the rookie out there too. But
definitely,
again, playing on the safe side, the way that team gets.
Green Bay's offensive
I'm going
line
with the Chiefs on that one.
Green Bay's offensive line is not just one of the good ones; they're one of the great O-lines in this league. So they are definitely going to be able to pass protect well for Jordan Love and open up running lanes. It seems like what they're going to have to do is have to play Tyrann Mathieu up a little closer to the line of scrimmage, and maybe to kind of help prevent that running game from blooming.
Mike Tackett says he thinks that McCaffrey, if he plays, will be the key factor in that Carolina game.
I don't think he's going to play. I don't see it, and even if you have McCaffrey this week, you don't have a Darnold. So P.J. Walker, yeah.
Well, I know, but at this point, I think some of those Carolina fans and some people are, again, if you already had your opinion that Sam Darnold is not the guy, it's just being relived right now, and you're kind of saying, see, I told you so. If you were a Sam Darnold guy, again, you're looking at some of the issues, the way that the game is kind of rolled out, and not exactly all of it was his fault. a lot of different
It's
things
definitely
happen
not.
in the game, and so it depends, I think, on what side you're on.
I'm on the side of reality.
It says that he says Christian McCaffrey to return from injured reserve on Wednesday, giving him a chance to play on Sunday. But I don't think it's really out. It's probably questionable out there. There'll probably be a game time decision.
He's going to start off limited in practice. They're going to see how fast they can kind of get him ready and if he's ready. Just because he's been designated to come back doesn't mean he's definitely playing this week. There's a chance for sure, but I feel like without Darnold at quarterback, there's going to be no threat. P.J. Walker's not a threat to throw the football. So they're gonna be just key. If McCaffrey's playing, they're gonna just be keying on McCaffrey if they're smart and trying to limit that offense.
Yep. All right, now we've got the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. The thing about that Cardinals and Packers game, I don't know. It just seemed like they just weren't ready. You know what I mean? I think they could have won that game, but they just made a lot of mistakes. Cardinals did.
Well,
I mean,
what
they
I will
just
say is
so
they
many
had,
mistakes.
They had it at the end. They
Yeah.
did. They had it. And here's the other thing that I'll point out is a weakness of the Cardinals that's starting to show is that defensive line. Without having J.J. Watt, it looks like, even with Chandler Jones, it seems like
really didn't get
any.
any.
It seems like
pressure.
they double-teamed Jones, and then everybody else just didn't do anything. They couldn't beat their man. They couldn't create the pressure that they needed to help this defense in the back end to be successful. So that right there was one problem. The other problem is we talk about communication as being a key thing in the NFL, and it really is, because on that last drive that Arizona had to win the game, they were right there.
It was over.
A.J. Green didn't get the audible.
Yep.
That's what it was.
It was.
There was an original play called in the huddle when they lined up. Kyler Murray looked around. He saw what he saw, and he was like, okay, I'm going to audible, and he did his audible. He was yelling it, but A.J. Green couldn't hear him.
Yep.
So then when they hiked the ball and he dropped back and he just let it fly, it was supposed to be right. It was actually placed in the perfect position.
Yep.
All A.J. Green had to do, and I'm not blaming him, I'm just explaining how the play broke down, is that he didn't get the audible. So he thought he was just kind of like faking, like going up the field, and it was going to be on the opposite side, whether it be a run with Kyler or a run with the running back or something like that. And then that's why he didn't turn around. That's why he was all nonchalant. You saw him kind of run up, jog up against the corner, and that was it.
Yeah.
That ball was perfectly placed. So if he got that call, there is no doubt that would have been a touchdown.
Right.
A.J. Green would have caught that ball.
Yep, I know, and that's the sad thing, because that's what it looked like. And the coach came out afterwards, Kingsbury, and he said, yeah, it was a play to the left. There was going to be a pass to the left, and then Kyler ended up audibling out and said, no, it was going to be A.J. Green, called his number, and he didn't hear it, and that's where you get what you saw. And that was rough to watch, especially, because I had the Cardinals on that one. I really wanted that one, and
Sure.
yeah, it sucked. But now we've got them here facing the San Francisco 49ers. I think the 49ers have their share of own problems that they have too as well. But I think it's a good team, even though it's a rival. I think it's going to be a closer game, but I like the Arizona Cardinals to bounce back against the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree on this one. Listen, me and Jim both picked the Cardinals to win this division.
Yeah.
And
we're looking pretty good right now.
And I'm still riding their coattails to this day. I think they're a really good team. It sucks that they don't have J.J. Watt anymore, but I feel like they're going to kind of have to, change some things up
They
this
got to
week.
be able to get
You know what I mean?
Chandler Jones out there.
Maybe utilize Isaiah Williams on a pass rush off the edge opposite
Simmons?
Chandler
Yeah.
Jones
Yeah.
to kind of mix up the play calling there on defense and spice some things up. Arizona's offense doesn't need any spicing up. They just need to work on their communication a little bit. But other than that, Niners. Listen, I don't have any kind of faith in Jimmy G right now as the quarterback, and it looks like. It looks like, geez, I just kind of slipped his name.
Who?
The rookie quarterback.
For who? The
Niners.
Niners?
Yeah. He's coming back from injury.
Oh, freaking. No, I can't believe it. Trey Lance. Trey Lance. Blech.
Lance.
Wow.
Thanks.
Yeah, I
Trey
have
Lan-
brain farts every now and then,
Trey-
too. It's
Trey-
like memorize so many players' names. You don't even realize. You guys, we cover every team in the NFL. And we've almost
Sometimes it doesn't
not
work
memorized, but known almost the whole damn depth chart of a lot of these teams. So when you start to think about a guy, and then you're like, which one is that one? It happens.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. I just can't spit out the names sometimes.
But Trey Lance, exactly.
But Trey Lance looks like he's coming back from his injury. How that's going to play into their offense, I don't think he's going to get plugged in right away as the starter as of yet. I see that coming pretty soon. Especially after he shows confidence in the Niners organization that he's completely healthy. But I think he'll get in from time to time. But I really don't have faith in this offense. It's kind of stagnant. All they can do successfully is run the ball. And if Arizona can shut that run game down, or at least slow it down, it's going to go one way, and that's Arizona's way.
All right. We got the Sunday night game. This one should be a nice one, though, too. I think a lot of people will be excited for this one. But we've got is McNichols going to be the running back for them for the Titans at this point? He's got to be at this point, right? Because I know you're not going to get Adrian Peterson already to go
signed
and just
him.
Throw him on there.
And the thing is
hey, suit up, go ahead. You know what you're doing.
The reason why teams sign veterans and they put them right to practice squad, not right to the active roster, is because they need to learn the offense first. So as soon as Adrian Peterson learns the offense, I'm expecting him by next week. Next week, you could see him a go. He's going to get into the rotation type of deal. But I don't feel like he'll take over and be the starter right away. He has an opportunity that he could. But at the very least, not this week. Maybe look to next week to where he can kind of get more involved in the offense.
Now, the Tennessee Titans, for me, they've shown that they can win by passing, too, as well. But losing Derrick Henry is a huge thing for this team.
Huge.
There's nobody that runs like him at all.
Or is like him.
Absolutely. And make those big chunk plays. There's been running backs that can just get their yardage of what they do, but he takes it to the next level and has that one explosive play, if not two, per game, to where he reaches out on a 90-yard run or whatever it might be. You're not going to be able to get that, a guy that can physically beat down the other team. So I think that's a difference maker for these guys. And so the Rams, they're only getting better. You know what I mean? They've got the weapons. They've got the quarterback. They've got Von Miller now, too, as well. So, I mean, does it get any easier for these other teams in the AFC West? We picked the Cardinals again, but, man, these Rams, they're going all in. And we talked about it multiple times with this team for the past couple seasons. I brought it up earlier in the show. They keep wheeling and dealing. They did when they got Sue and they got these other guys with Jalen Ramsey. Boom, boom, boom. Traded all these picks away, getting this guy and trying to make a run for the Super Bowl. Eventually, it's going to catch up with them. But now they've gone all in. They're still shuffling around, going all in.
Last year.
They've got to do it here, and this is it. Like you said, this is their last year. They have to do it. But it's one hell of a team right now. So I like the Rams in this one against the Tennessee Titans. I just don't think they're strong enough.
Listen, and that's the thing is, like, when you don't have Derrick Henry, you don't just lose an elite type of player from their offense. They also lose a guy that a lot of people look up to in that locker room. A lot of people that they rely on being there. You know, and when you lose that kind of a big star from your lineup, it dampens the mood a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe the team, they're going to be confident going into this matchup, but they're not going to be as confident or really truly believe that they might even have a shot deep down. I'm not saying like, of course they're going to just be like, yeah, let's go. But the Titans, this is an uphill climb right now. Now that you don't have Henry, Ryan Tannehill's going to be asked to do a lot more for this offense, be able to throw the ball to now newly acquired Julio Jones and A.J. Brown on this offensive side of the ball. Now it looks like this team is going to have to be flip-flopped. It's not going to be seen as more of a run-heavy style team. Now it looks like they're going to have Tannehill throw the ball to open up the run instead. How successful they'll be, we'll see. We've seen them kind of stagger when this does occur, when they don't have Henry in the lineup. And defensively, they've been a pleasant surprise here and there. Not always, but once in a while. Going into L.A., this is going to be a tall order for them to reach here. Rams got this very explosive offense, a lot of weapons, and defensively they just got even better. This is going to be exciting, especially for Von Miller fans, to see what he looks like in a Rams uniform and what he can do for the Rams. I got the L.A. Rams as well.
All right. Speaking of L.A., Joe, we put in our application for Radio Row for
Yes.
Los Angeles. We
Gotcha.
should know in a few weeks. So the rest of you guys
Okay.
know out there, know-it-alls. We are planning to be at Radio Row in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl this season. So make sure you guys look for that in the future.
Yes.
We're going to do all that we can this year to be everywhere and try and get out to those major places to get you guys into the locations where you don't normally get to, and you get to be in the know and get the guests on here that you guys want and that you deserve. Mike Tackett in the house here. He says, "Does Von Miller make Von Miller? Yeah,
Does Von Miller make
the Rams? Yeah, a legitimate Super Bowl contender."
Yeah.
They've given up most of their 2022 draft. Still not as bad as the 1999 Ricky Williams trade.
True.
Everybody guys bring that one out. That's awesome. This is definitely a last attempt to make a run, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, we talked about. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, Mike. I'm like freaking Anchorman, and I start to read it word from word, but then I won't just read it though. But I gotta stop, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I need to, but I'll still read it.
I like to make a love to the cha-cha.
F you, San Diego, or is that whatever? San Diego. Oh man, but yeah, this is what we've been saying. We saw it a bunch of times. They saw that, and I think it's Sam Kroenke too. That it was just been like, this is why I bought the team. This is what I've done to do. This is why I brought them to the Los Angeles city, and built this stadium. We are the Rams. I'm trying to get us that glory right now. And boom, explode.
Speaking of Kroenke, he's in some hot water right now. Mm-hmm. He's definitely taken some heat from other owners. He's taken some heat from the previous city, St. Louis. It looks like he might have a big-time lawsuit on his hands. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
But going back into the games that we have, and as far as Mike Tackett's question there about Von Miller, does it make him a legitimate Super Bowl? I think they were showing us week to week that they were going to be a Super Bowl contender. They're definitely going to be a contender in the playoffs, for sure, as long as they keep tracking the way they are. But now with the addition of Von Miller to help the pass rush even more, opposing offenses aren't going to have that much time to sit back and throw the football. Because, listen, it takes two guys, sometimes three guys, to try to slow down Aaron Donald, and even that's not enough. And then if you have Von Miller kind of rushing off the edge as well, who's used to being double-teamed,
right,
it's going to further expose whatever offense they face. So I fully expect them to come all out every week and just put immense pressure on opposing offenses.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at the NFC or even the NFL, I think at this point for the whole season, the way these games have gone, it still shows you that any Sunday anybody can win. So when I'm trying to look at Super Bowl run, best contender, number one, power rankings, and all that dumb
Everybody's
shit,
in it.
I can't really focus on one team.
No, you can't.
We picked the Arizona Cardinals to take the division, but then I had the Rams second right there to ride in that division, which is kind of looking like that. But the Rams are really on fire right now. It could flip-flop. When it comes down to the playoffs, anything can happen. Look at the AFC. It's all over the place. This is a long season. You've got that extra week, too. A lot can happen. You've got that extra playoff, the wild card teams that are in there now. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get nutty. We're all going to love it, though. It's going to be crazy. So I don't make any predictions, really. We do our thing in the beginning of the season, but as it's going, I'm enjoying it for the moment, and I'm still freaking clueless on a lot of this shit that's going on. But it is fun to watch and definitely exciting. How the hell the Jets beat the Titans and then, the Cincinnati Bengals, but then the Titans beat, the Bills and then the Bengals beat the Ravens. It's crazy.
Right.
But, all right, let's get to Monday night, Joe. Monday Night Football. We got the Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bears going through their growing pains. They got their quarterback now, though, so he's just feeling it out again, getting his experience in the league. It's got a tough defense to face here. You played to win the game. I have that one too. They have a tough defense. And T.J. Watt, who played great last week here to pull off that win. I got it here.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
See, there you go. Exactly, and it happens. But Chicago Bears have a tough plate against them here, though. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers at home.
Yeah, I mean, the Chicago Bears, despite the success that Justin Fields has had, especially last week, the other thing is that the Bears' defense has been not looking too hot.
Yeah.
So, going into this matchup, I like the progress and the development of Fields, but I don't feel like it's enough to kind of help this team get to the winning column here. They have to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's an extremely tough place to play with those crazy fans waving those terrible towels, and the defense and how they've been able to respond this past week. And now you're going into this week against Chicago. This is a winnable game for Pittsburgh. This is definitely a game that they need to kind of get under their belt. And I feel like being home, they're going to do that Monday night. I'm going Steelers.
Steelers. You know what, Joe? We have every single game the same. So I cannot game.
Do we?
I cannot gain. Yeah, I cannot gain a game on you this week.
Maybe next week.
You know what? I might be happy with that though. I need a relaxing weekend just to chill. Like whatever Joe gets, I get. Whatever. Let's enjoy it. We're going to be at the, if you guys, again, just tuning in this weekend, we are going to be at the New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders game.
Yes.
That's right, here, 1 o'clock, here in the East Rutherford, New Jersey. That's right. Those guys are going to square off. Joe's a Raiders fan. I'm a Giants fan. We get to go there. We're going to go where the tailgating is. We're going to talk to people, see what their aspect is of the game. What, I'm going to ask them some questions about, what they expect to see, blah, blah, blah. We're going to try and see some friends that we got there. They're going to be stopping by, so hopefully get them on the air. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of other stuff this season to do, more giveaways and stuff like that. I want to thank our sponsors out there, Johnstone Supply, Colorize, Mohawk Honda, where they go out of their way to please you out there as well. Buck Environmental Solutions right now, even too, they can handle anything you need for environmental solutions there for you. PPK, Paul Berry Kitchens out there. If you guys want a custom closet and stuff for your wife, you don't want to do that for the Christmas is coming. People are doing Christmas shopping already right now. Check them out, and also those nice showers with the beautiful glass doors, stuff like that. They're taking care of you right there too, on Scotia Glenville on Freeman's Ridge Road as well too. Just go check them out, PPK, PaulPerryKitchens.com. And for all your kitchen needs, if you want to redo the kitchen too for Christmas, it's great to do for you too. Here you go, honey. Happy wife, happy life. That's what you do. Raise. If you haven't yet, go to repsports.com, hit the promo code, raise them up, and get your discount on your Raise energy drinks. Joe and I drink them religiously, nonstop, zero sugar, zero crash, hydration, and it's got you feeling good.
That's it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. What else, Joe? And then also,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say our social media. Hit us up with social media.
Yeah, definitely.
Buddy.
So if you like what you see on the show, if you like what you hear on the podcast, make sure you follow us. We are on a lot of the podcast forums as it is. Make sure you hit a follow.
Spotify,
Google
Google
us out.
Podcasts, all that.
Also, if you like the show, if you like to watch us, if you like to interact, we are here for you guys. This is what we do every week. Make sure you hit us up on Facebook or YouTube. Search us up, Football on the No Show. On YouTube, subscribe. And also hit the notification bell to when we go live so you guys can be interactive with us. And also on Facebook, become a member, become a know-it-all on there as well. We are also on Twitter. So if you want to just kind of tweet us, if you want to ask some questions via Twitter or if you just want to check our little Twitter feed out, why don't you do so at FB_no, and that's where you can find us. Be in the know. Be a know-it-all.
Absolutely. We broadcast live on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube as well. But if you haven't joined our Facebook group too, Football on the No Show, I had even somebody comment to me today about they really love our group because we post a lot of other news out there on that page and in that group that even the Score and some of these other guys you guys probably follow too. You don't get notifications from, Bleacher Report. We're putting some of those newsworthy things like trades that happened this week that nobody's talking about.
Not to mention, it's not even just like updates like trades or free agent
feel good
signings
stories too that you don't
or
get to
anything.
hear about.
It's also there's articles out there about something that we're not even like paying attention to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, the Ruggs car crash came and that was like the big report right now. That's on our page or group. We also have other articles that might be interesting to you, like maybe a really early 2022 mock draft that's already been put out, or something like that. So there's a lot of interesting things that we try to put on our group and our page. Make sure you check them out.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for us this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know it got off to a slow start. I'm here by myself, but, Joe showed up, and it got a lot more lively. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday nights for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.